April 20th here in southern Ontario, Canada. So as we continue to look at the provincial election in Alberta, I should point out I didn't clarify quite, or I might have left it slightly misunderstood in the last video. The federal NDP party's mandate is that every provincial NDP is part of the federal party, not just Alberta. I might have been a bit misleading in that, the way I presented it. And if we look at British Columbia, the Pacific, our westernmost province, that's in the grasp of the provincial and hence federal NDP, that province is a mess. Oof. Anyways, having clarified that point, I was left wondering, well, how can the NDP possibly be giving Danielle Smith a run for her money? I'm not sure what the polling shows, nor do I have a great deal of faith in the polls. How can anybody be considering Rachel Notley and the NDP in Alberta? Well, first off, her husband's a big wig in the CUPE union, C-U-P-E union, which, amongst other things, is the civil servants and the government employees and so on. So, there's some bias there being presented to the union members. I've mentioned this before. We needn't go down the path much to explain how that's happening, and we certainly don't need to explain why. So, now we come to an interesting thing. I got looking at the population of Alberta. Shows 4.4 million in 2019. So, I don't know, round it up to 5 million. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Now, the Canadian census from 2011, interestingly enough, in the census, they've changed the term urban center into population centers. Kind of smacks of the devils and Davos, doesn't it? But I guess that's kind of besides the point. Here's the deal. The former urban centers, now population centers, from 2011 again, the cumulative population is 2.7 million. So more than half of the population is urban, cityots. Yeah, that's what I said, cityots. 15 minute cityots. Oof. So, I know I'm mixing up some years of data there, but we can assume that the growth rates have been similar. So we have more than half of the population living in heretofore urban centers, living in the cities, probably buying this Davos 15-minute city stuff. And then we have the unions influencing their members to vote for the guy's wife. Oof. I'm not liking it. Anyways, we'll leave this here with the third video for now. I'll continue to keep an eye on what's happening in Alberta, because as I said in the initial video, I think very much the fate of our country, well, this election and who wins in Alberta certainly holds an influence. That would be an understatement. And again, if you're in Alberta, an Albertan, and you're sitting on the fence, just take a look over the mountains and look at how BC's doing under the NDP.